Why did you become a scientist?
Scientist? Because I'm nosy is the quickest answer. But I love to ask questions. I love to know how things work, why certain things happen the way they do. So I think that was a big part of it. Another thing is I think of myself a little bit as an artist, a creative person. And in science, you get to be creative. So you get to, pick how it asks you to be creative a lot in how you ask the questions that you're interested in how you go about looking for the answers for these questions. So I think it just kind of fit my personality a little bit. So that's why.
I became a scientist because I'm passionate about working towards solutions to disease.
I can help people using my research.
I became a scientist because I love learning about how things work. Science to me is a tremendous opportunity to satisfy that curiosity, while at the same time making discoveries which impact our understanding of the world around us, as well as in us.
My dad made me want to be a scientist. He took me to the zoo every single Sunday when I was a baby, and so I started to love animals from a really early age. And every time I asked him a question, he always said it was an amazing question, and that taught me to like asking questions and to be really curious, and he always nurtured that in me.
I decided to become a scientist because I thought the classes that I took in high school and college were really interesting and really fun, and I wanted to keep having fun and keep learning interesting things even after I graduated from high school and then from college.
Contribute to something bigger than us, and in a much bigger fashion than even becoming like a medical doctor or something along those lines, where you'd help fix one patient a day basically, or multiples, but with this you can affect thousands if not millions with the things we're able to do right here in the lab. So
I've always loved, I know that this sounds a little cliche, but I've always loved to help people, and I've always been really interested in the human body. The human body is fascinating. You never get bored of it. The understanding simple questions as why do we cough? Why do we sneeze? Maybe you have thought about it. So if you get to start studying biology and the human body, you discover the answer to all these things.
Why is your science research important?
My research is important because when some people get cancer, no matter what we do, they just don't get better because we don't have the right kind of therapy yet. So I'm working on finding a new treatment for people with a cancer called acute myeloid leukemia.
I work with umbilical cord cells that were donated at birth, and I look at how the mother's health during pregnancy is related to how these umbilical cord cells behave in order to predict any kind of health issues that the baby may have as they get older. And this is important because hopefully if we know early enough, we can actually help treat the baby before any big problems arise.
Because I'm able to help solve an issue that affects lots of underprivileged people all around the world, and it's my pleasure to be able to help them.
I work investigating cancer, specifically investigating the blood cancer. So maybe you have heard before about leukemias, those blood cancers. And well, of course, investigating cancer, it's always going to be important because specifically what we do in my lab is that we are just trying to improve the treatment and the way that you can diagnose it. So that's always good, right? If you can help people catch it before and help them with their treatments to respond better, it's always going to be good.
Research is important because the disease that I'm interested in affects millions of people worldwide and their caregivers. And if we can figure out new ways to combat it, then we can really change the world for the better.
So the research that I do is about something that a lot of people don't know a lot about. It's on marijuana, which is something that you might have heard of, or you might have seen, or it might even sound a little bit scary. But a lot of people are interested in how we can use it now. So in my research, we look at how we can use it for people that have back pain and see if it can help them.
What should I do if I want to be a scientist?
If you're interested in becoming a scientist, my best advice to you is to stay curious. Keep asking questions. Keep asking why. This intellectual curiosity will keep you focused, keep you motivated when an experiment fails, and help you become the best scientist you can be.
would be that math, it's not necessary sometimes. Because I remember when I was younger, I was always really worried, like, I don't like math, like, I'm not gonna be able to become a scientist. Well, there is tons of science out there, and if you just manage to get, average with math, that's perfectly fine. Like, you can not like math and become an excellent scientist.
My advice, if you want to become a scientist, is to pay attention to the things that get you excited or just stuff you learn in school that you think is really cool. Keep it locked away, and maybe someday you can study it more.
Advice for someone that wants to become a scientist. I would probably say go follow them on Twitter. They offer helpful advice, insights into their careers, and it kind of demystifies them. So the scientists are, just like you. They feel sad, they feel happy, they have other interests, they struggle, and you kind of need to know all that.
For me, I would say ask a lot of questions. Get comfortable with asking questions. So you can ask your teachers about things that you're interested in, your parents. Just get used to that feeling, to that process. Even if it feels like it might be a stupid question, you know how they say there's not ever a stupid question? Yeah, go with that. And then the other thing I would say is figure out what you're really interested in, what you would love to learn more about, and maybe do that for your whole life. So is that space? Is that the human mind? Volcanoes, plants, anything that you find really interesting. I would go ahead and do some of your own research and find some people or places nearby you that you can go ask more questions about this thing that you're interested in. Maybe join a club or something like that. So that would be my advice.
Thank you for watching. Stay curious and keep asking questions.